You know, when we get faced with situations that we've never experienced before, we can have a tendency to overreact. This whole not standing for the national anthem, or children now not standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, has got a lot of people in an uproar. I can appreciate that. I remember the first time I saw a child not participate in the Pledge of Allegiance. I was living in Richmond, Virginia, second grade, and we stood to pledge allegiance to the flag, and this little boy gets up and walks out of the room. After doing this several days in a row, I began to be curious about it. So on the playground that day, I went up to him and I said, "Why do you leave every day when the pledge is we're pledging allegiance?" He said, "Well, my parents are atheists." I didn't have a clue what an atheist was, and I said, "What is that?" And he said, "Well, they don't believe in God, and since the pledge says one nation under God, they don't want me to recite it." I said, "Well, are you an atheist?" And he said, "Well, I don't know whether I believe in God or not, but my parents won't allow me to say the pledge." We later moved to Memphis, Tennessee. I had two little Jehovah's Witness children in my class at different grades, and they wouldn't pledge allegiance either. Later, we moved to Lebanon, Tennessee, and there was a girl in my class that wouldn't say the Pledge of Allegiance, and so I asked her one day, I said, "Are you an atheist or a Jehovah's Witness?" And she said, "No, I'm a Christian." So I'm not sure exactly what her belief system was. Maybe she was some type of Anabaptist or a very strict Mennonite or something like that. I don't know. But I had gotten used to the fact that there are just some people that won't stand for the pledge or won't stand for the national anthem. On a thread yesterday on Facebook, people were in uproar because now children are not standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, I guess, to join the NFL players who are kneeling or sitting during the national anthem. And on one of those threads, a teacher said, "That's not going to happen in my class. You stand up, put your hand on your heart, and you recite the pledge." I asked her a very simple question. I said, "So you're telling me that you will violate somebody's First Amendment rights?" And she writes back, "In a heartbeat." It's a sign of respect. Have we really gone that far down the road of losing our liberties that we would be willing to violate somebody's First Amendment rights? That seems scary to me. If we're going to go there, why don't we get rid of the freedom of religion too? I mean, there's some wackos like Westboro Baptist Church. Maybe we'll just force them into some type of Christianity that's a little bit more compassionate and a little bit more reasonable. We can't do that. We're Americans. If somebody wants to sit during the pledge or wants to sit during the national anthem, we shouldn't be calling for the NFL to fine them, or we shouldn't be allowing teachers to, in the case in Kentucky the other day where a teacher physically tried to force a child to stand up. Have we gone that far? Have we gone down so far the road of tyranny that we will allow ourselves to take away the constitutional rights of other people? I know we've gone down this road, especially since 9/11. I mean, with the passage of the Patriot Act, we were seeing our freedoms erode. Now the DEA is put Kratom on the Schedule 1, or at the end of the month, it's going to be on the Schedule 1 drug substance list. Now we're allowing the government to tell us what plant we can grow in our garden. We need to stand up. We need to stand up against this tyranny. I know it can be frustrating to see somebody disrespect our flag. It can be frustrating to see groups like Westboro Baptist Church. But our freedoms are too important to allow them to be taken away.